Hello everyone and welcome back to Senor Limpio Gaming. It is me, Senor Limpio, and this is it. This is the one that we have been waiting for. It's the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra versus the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. Who will come out on top? Buckle up and let's find out. So while I was trying to make a review video for the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4, I kept using the S21 Ultra as a frame of reference because that was my previous phone. So instead of just making a review video, I decided why not compare the two phones. Another reason why I decided to make this video is because there aren't a lot of videos online comparing these two phones. There's a lot of S22 Ultra comparisons to the Flip 4. There's some S21 Pluses videos online, but not anything specifically comparing the 21 Ultra to the Z Flip 4. So I figured I'd make one for anyone who's trying to switch from this phone to this phone. Now, I'm not gonna delve too much into comparing the specs of these two phones because if you look at it on paper, the S21 Ultra is going to blow the Flip 4 out of the water in sheer specs. But this is more going to be would the average user be satisfied with switching from this phone to this phone? So we are going to look at 4 different aspects of this phone. Number 1, we are going to look at the camera, which is probably the most important thing people look at in phones these days when they're trying to make a purchase. Number 2, which is probably the second most important thing that people look for, is the battery life. Is the battery life satisfactory for like general everyday use? Number 3 is the design of the phone. Does it feel solid? Does it feel premium? Does it look premium, right? For the price of these Z Flip 4s, you kind of want that. And finally, the 4th one will be just a general user experience. The UI, does it feel smooth? Does it feel snappy to use? Yeah, and so those are going to be the 4 things that we will look at with this phone. Number 1, let's look at the camera. I'm going to throw out some comparison shots here on the screen between the S21 Ultra and the Z Flip 4. You know what, I think pretty comparable. If you're not nitpicking, if you're not looking at, like super fine details, they are pretty comparable. The Z Flip 4 is a solid daily use camera, although I will admit that there were some instances where the Flip camera was slow to take photos, making me lose a shot or two. If you have pets, if you have kids that you take a lot of photos of, then yeah, you do want a faster camera. But if it's a compliant, immobile subject, it's no match for the Z Flip 4's capabilities. If all you need or all you want are nice looking pictures for social media, or if you just want to collect photos for memories, you can't really go wrong with the Z Flip 4. We all know that the S21 Ultra does have that huge zoom capabilities, but I find that I don't use it as much as you would really think. So yeah, pretty solid camera on the Z Flip 4, less capabilities, but you're not gonna miss the 21 Ultra's zoom too much. Number 2, battery life. Okay, so I've been using the phone for about a week now, and a few disclaimers, a few caveats. Number 1, I'm not a power user. I don't consider myself one. I mostly use my phone for scrolling social media, for browsing the internet, and for YouTube and other video services. I don't play games on it. I have to admit that. And the second thing is I do plug my phone in to my car going to and coming home from work. It is 10 to 12 minute drive one way. So, okay, fine. I do get maybe 20-ish minutes of extra charging done on the Z Flip 4 with everyday use. But I found that after a solid 12-hour night shift, I do still go home with about 20 to 25% of battery. So the settings that I have when on my phone, the adaptive screen brightness is on. I'm always on dark mode when I use my phone. The haptics, the vibrations are turned on in most features, and my always on display I keep on all the time. So those are some of the settings on my phone with general daily use, and I am still getting around that 20 to 25% battery by the time that I get home. The S21 Ultra has a way bigger battery than the Z Flip 4, admittedly. But with the Z Flip 4, I am still making it home at the end of the day with little to no battery anxiety. I'm going to call it that. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is the user experience. I'll talk about the design of the phone last, because the design of the phone kind of parlays into my final thoughts on the Z Flip 4. So let's talk about user experience first. The first thing I wanted to talk about in terms of user experience is the crease. Now, I know people will say, well, that's kind of a design discussion, but I think really Samsung had to put the crease in order to get the phone to fold and have a screen that is not so fragile. So it's not a design choice, but maybe just a limitation on how the phone had to be made. In terms of the user experience on the crease, I have really honestly forgotten about it. It's negligible. It honestly disappears after a while. I barely slide my finger on it, because when I'm scrolling, I'm usually scrolling at the bottom half of the screen anyway, so it's not something that I touch all the time. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't mind when my hand rolls over that crease. Again, I'm not a gamer, and even if you game, you're not gonna touch those parts of the screen very much. It will catch the light sometimes. Let's see. See? It will catch the light sometimes. But for the most part, it will just blend into the screen. It's not something that will bother you. You will get used to it. The hinge is solid and firm. It's smaller than the previous generation. When you open it fully, the phone actually is super solid. You almost forget that the phone is technically cut in half. The screen is bright and solid, high refresh rate. Although it does lack the same pixels as the S21 Ultra, if there's anything that we have learned from the new generation of gaming consoles, it's that refresh rate beats resolution all the time. I thought when I started video gaming on the new systems that I would prefer high-res gaming, but I actually like high refresh rate way better. It makes things look more modern. So in that aspect, can't complain when it comes to the Z Flip 4's screen. One thing about the Z Flip 4 that did take me aback a little bit is the screen size. Now, because of the design of the phone, there are bezels around the screen edges, making the screen itself noticeably smaller than the one on the S21 Ultra. If you look at the phone dimensions itself of the phones, they're practically identical in width, but the S21 Ultra has that slightly curved screen on the sides, making it look much larger. I felt like with the Z Flip 4, I did have to increase the font sizes, increase the icon sizes just a little bit to make it look a little more readable. So in terms of that, okay, fine, the S21 Ultra way better in terms of, screen real estate. The last thing about user experience I wanted to talk about is the cover screen on the phone, which I found underwhelming, and I'll tell you guys why. It's because I have a smartwatch. I have a Galaxy Watch 4, and the functionality of the cover screen does not at all, in my mind, replace the functionality of my smartwatch. My smartwatch can handle message notifications. I can, if I had to, I could text back using my smartwatch. And nothing really drew me to using the cover screen for anything except maybe the clock. That is it. Which, if you had a regular slab phone and you had your always on display on, you would still see the time. Like, for now, the functionality of the cover screen, I find, needs a little work, which is sad because that's one of the things that sets this phone apart. Aside from the folding capabilities, it's that tiny screen. If you could have done more things on it, it would have been great. Yes, you can watch YouTube on it. Yes, you can launch some more apps on it if you download the Launcher Plus or Cover Launcher Plus. But who really wants to do that on a tiny screen? You're just gonna open up your phone fully anyway. So yes, cover screen, underwhelmed. Now, let's talk number 4. Let's talk the design of the phone. This is really where it all boils down to. The flipping ability of the phone, the reason for this phone's existence. Is it a gimmick? Is it useful? Does it really serve any practical purpose? Well, maybe. A lot of people will put value into the compact nature of this phone. It's convenient to store in your small bag. It fits in your pocket really well. You don't have to worry about it falling out of your pocket, as you know, sometimes you want to wear your skinny shorts, your skinny jeans. I personally find it hard to bend down with the 21 Ultra in my skinny jeans pocket because it kind of digs into your hip when I'm trying to bend over to, say, tie my shoes. So this works a lot better. Is that enough reason to buy the phone? I don't know. It being folded and having the cover screen, it innately makes you spend less time on your phone. So if you are the type to be doom scrolling online, you do less of that, which is great. The people who put value in those are also the same people who can ignore the crease and justify the flagship cost for a slightly less than flagship specs. On the other side of the spectrum are the people who can't stand the crease, who will lament the fact that you have to pay the same amount of money for an Ultra phone but not have the Ultra capabilities. Who is right? Who is wrong? Neither of them are wrong. There used to be a time when candy bar phones and flip phones coexisted peacefully in the world. Two very similar but very distinct types of phone. It was only in the time when smartphones came up that the flippies had to retreat into a cave, waiting for the time when they could come back out and reclaim their place in the world. And now they're back. Are they trying to replace candy bar slab phones? No. Can they live peacefully in harmony with other types of phones? Absolutely. It's just up to you to decide which type of phone you like. So here are my final thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. It is a solid, nearly flagship phone that most users will be more than satisfied using on a daily basis. It more than held its own against the Galaxy S21 Ultra, which on paper, the specs are much beefier than the Z Flip 4. So, who is the winner? I think it is a solid... It's a tie. I know, it seems like such a cop-out. It is such a diplomatic answer. But think about it this way. Now we have options and now we have variety, which we did back in the day. Remember? Back when phones were fun? That's a Mr. Mobile shout out. Instead of going and looking at which slab of a phone do I want. Now we have different options. We have ones that fold like this, we have some that flip like that, and we have the ones that are just one solid piece of brick. So it really is up to the individual to decide what they want in a phone and then go from there. It's good to have choices, is all I'm trying to say right now. And yeah, Samsung, they try new things. Some of them flop hard, some of them are really good. And I think this is one of those times where they're like really nailing it. That has been my review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4. It is your average user, regular Joe review of the phone. It wasn't like spec heavy or anything like that. I hope you have enjoyed following me through these series of videos. We have unboxed the phone, we put the case on the phone, and we compared the phone to my previous one. So thank you very much for following me along. We will probably go back to our regularly scheduled gaming stream videos here pretty soon. And yeah, if this is content that you enjoy, please like and subscribe to the channel. This has been Senor Limpio Gaming, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.